the goal is to be an authentic version of yourself, a socially appropriate version of your authentic self. So I asked people before if anyone could do a Rubik's Cube. What colour is this Rubik's Cube?
White.
Are you sure it's white? Right, I'm showing you the white side. This is an authentic version of this object. Completely real, no faking here. Every object, every person has lots and lots of different sides to them. It's impossible for one person to completely know absolutely everything about you. Earlier, I asked you, what's one awesome thing about yourself? And you all shared one thing. Right? Now I know one thing about you. I know one tiny little authentic side of you. So when we get into first impressions later on, we get to choose which side we bring it to any given situation. Right? So how I'm talking to you right now is an authentic version of myself. It's different to how I talk to my wife. It's different to how I talk to my family. It's different to how I would be in a professional work, white collar kind of meeting setting. Every situation has a different version of your authentic self. Okay, so in terms of masking, you might be thinking, a lot of us are really good at masking. So what's the difference between masking and fitting in? And actually, when you think about masking, it's actually a very thin layer, and we're trying with masking to not be noticed. Because if someone looks too closely, then they're going to tell that we're masking. I might have a really great social script, but if someone looks too closely, if someone asks me the wrong question, I'm actually well out of my depth. I'm just pretending. So that's not that's not an authentic version of myself. That's trying to get by without attracting too much attention. For a lot of us, fitting in is really difficult. People know that you're different. They can see that you're different. They can hear that you're different. And so standing out is sometimes an easier strategy. And if you can find a socially appropriate version of your authentic self that stands out, then that means that people might see, wow, you're different to other people, but different doesn't have to be weird. Okay, so I had a brainstorming things. What are some social expectations that are hard? We had the example of eye contact, for example.
That's very tricky.
What if you didn't want people to know that you were, say, autistic, for example?
Mm-hmm. Good example. So someone is going to notice that you're different in a way. So that gives us the power to come up with our own story, our own identity to answer the question that they have.
Right.
So some people use the phrase, my brain is wired differently. Some people use the phrase, I'm a bit eccentric. Some people use the phrase, I get, just explaining the situation. You're going to notice my behavior is a bit different in this situation, so I'm going to give you an explanation up front that's going to answer your question about why you're seeing a slightly different behavior. I'll give you an example. I don't like sitting down very much. I get a bit fidgety if I sit down too much. I always have a pen in my hand. When I worked as an engineer, I would have a pen in my hand all the time because that was a socially appropriate way to always have something in my hand to fidget with that attracted no extra questions or attention. So in a meeting, for example, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm autistic, I need to get up and because, etc., sensory, blah, blah, blah. I would say something like, I sit down all day, I think better when I'm standing up. If I'm pacing up and down, it means I'm listening. So I get to choose my own identity and I can explain to someone what I'm doing in a way that makes my behavior normal and understandable, even though it's actually different to everyone else's behavior around me. So that's just one example. Another question, how would you like to be seen? So you mentioned sometimes you don't want to be seen as autistic, for example. Okay, so as a human being?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Ellen?
I don't have much of a problem standing out, but I feel often that touch reminds me once I go in autistic, a mature person.
So you would like to be respected for being different?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Julian?
I want to be included.
Yep. Included.
Kind of not just in name, but also in action.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily need to come up with an answer today of exactly how to do all of these things. But the concept that I'm encouraging you to think about is that positive autistic identity means that you get to choose how you would like to be seen in an authentic way, and you can do that in a socially appropriate way at the same time. Positive autistic identity means you get to choose how you would like to be seen by showing an authentic version of your true self. If something about you is noticeably different, instead of hiding it as if it was something to be ashamed of, instead you can create a positive story to explain your difference in a way that others can understand and respect.